All right, so next we're going to talk about some of the specific details you may want to include in your prompts. Some of them are pretty obvious, including subject. That's probably the one thing everyone usually includes in their prompt. So I'm not going to designate a specific video to talking about the subject, but I think it goes without saying that you want to have a subject generally in your prompt, even if it's just person, cat, car, or, a 1975 Oldsmobile. I'm not a car guy, but I think there was a 1975 Oldsmobile. Who knows? Not a car person. A fairy slipper orchid, whatever the subject is or subjects, you want to put those in the prompt. And generally, you want to put those earlier in the prompt just so that they get the most attention. Even though everything is supposed to be weighted the same, as we saw earlier, it's not always the case. So put the subject early on. Some of these other things, though, like the environment, the mood, the composition, the lighting, these are things you might not think about day to day. But if you were an artist or a photographer, they're really important parts of just the general craft of being an artist or taking photos. And the same is true of writing Midjourney prompts. So in this video, we're going to talk about the mediums that you can use when writing prompts. So you can do basic things like watercolor, pixel art, lino cut, sketch, photograph, needlepoint, graffiti, oil painting, and they all make a massive difference. And everything I show you on this list can make a massive difference. But medium is one of those, certainly, that you may not even consider all the time, but there's a lot of styles out there beyond just the handful I listed here. And I'll show you some reference guides that illustrate different terms for mediums you may not be familiar with. For example, if you don't know what a lino cut is. So let's try some basic examples. I'm going to use the same prompt and just vary the medium. So I just found a lovely bat in my house. I just moved into a house. It's a northern long-eared bat. Thankfully, there's no rabies where I live. I don't know how long it was in this house and how many nights I slept with it, but I've been bit by a bat in the past, had to get rabies shots. It was horrible. Anyway, it's a northern long-eared bat, and we'll start with just the basic drawing, which is really not very specific as a medium. There's a lot of types of drawing. Let's try, watercolor, and one more. Let's do something entirely different. How about a lino cut? Now, while that's going, let me show you one of the references. There's many references out there, lots of people trying to make useful tools and guides for Midjourney. This is one I'll include a link to, where we get a whole list of different mediums, art mediums. So different types of illustrations. Let's look at pencil and graphite. There's charcoal art, there's colored pencil, there's grease pencil, and there's an example of each type. And then just within the world of ink, we have calligraphy versus ballpoint pen art versus ink, fountain pen art, iron, I don't even know what some of this is, India ink, marker art, whiteboard art. If we look at different types of printed materials, different ways of making prints, you can ask for a 3D print, a laser print, a print. You can do things like ask for a monotype or risograph. So if that's one of those where you may not know what a risograph is, but you kind of recognize this type of art when you see it, and now you have a specific term for it. So sometimes it's just about finding the term that corresponds to the style that you like. Let's look at a few others. You can do things like ask it to make origami or pottery. Just lots of different visual mediums. Okay, so we've got the basic drawing prompt. Those are not bad. We have our lino cut of my long-eared bat. So lino cut is where I think it's linoleum that you cut and sort of create a reverse image on, then you put ink on it and you print off of that carving. And then here's our watercolor bats. Very simple prompt, right? No other detail, just an animal and then a medium, but it makes a very big difference. Let's just try a few more. Let's do a risograph. Let's try tie-dye. And let's try oil painting. Okay, so 2 of those finished up. Here's the risograph. Those are pretty neat. And where's the other one? Here we are. This is our tie-dye bat. Kind of neat, although if I really wanted it to be tie-dye, I could get more specific and say I want a bat, long-eared bat design tie-dye shirt, if that's what I really wanted. Let's try a few more. There's some really fun ones on here. You'll see a lot of people use movie poster a lot. I don't know why, but people like making movie posters. So we could try a bat movie poster. IKEA guide, pop-up book. I really like the mosaics. So there's a bunch of different types of mosaics. I like this micro mosaic where it's really small pieces put together. So let's try that. Let's try micro mosaic. Why don't we try stained glass while we're here? And then let's try one media that I've never heard of. Interesting. What is this? Pietra dura. Let's try that. I don't even know what that actually is. Is that Italian? And I'll be back when these finish. All right, so here's our micro mosaic, built up of all these little tiny fragments of stone and shells and rocks. Pretty neat. Here's stained glass. Nice. And we're still waiting on pietra dura, which it probably means hard rock or hard stone or something. I don't even know if that's Italian, but I think that means stone and that means hard. It's probably a carving. Let's fire off just a handful more. Let's do origami. And then let's do, I guess we'll do movie poster because that seems to be a very trendy one. And then let's try something that's not at all a physical art form. Everything we've seen so far is like handcrafted. Let's try, how about just vector art? So something you would draw maybe in Adobe Illustrator, for example. So still, I guess, a medium, but not a physical art medium. It's a digital one. And I end up using some of these keywords a lot. If you look at some of the slides I've made in the past, like this is from Midjourney as vector art. This was 3D model, was the name or the medium that I used. So it's not always about painting or drawing or sculpting or origami. Here is our oil painting finally. Looks good to me. It's got that nice sort of soft light that a lot of oil paintings have. We can get way more specific, right? You can say heavy brush strokes or thick paint or whatever you want. Here's our movie poster. Oh, look at that one. It's like a little Furby. Cute. And we're getting vector art slowly and waiting for origami. Okay, origami finished up. Some of these are pretty neat. Now these are quite complex origami examples. I used to be really into origami, probably not that surprising. There's a guy named Robert Lang who makes origami that looks like this. Really complex stuff. I bought his book and made like one thing and it took me weeks, hundreds and hundreds of folds. Anyway, we could probably do simple origami, child's origami, right? There's many ways of changing the result while still keeping origami. Now this is just a quick overview of a million different, 20 different mediums that we could use, but there's a lot more in the world of design. We touched a little bit on vector art, but in the next video, I'm going to talk more about design styles specifically.